All right, everybody, welcome into Pickaxe and Roll. I'm your host, Ryan Blackburn. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Got to sit down with Denver Nuggets rookie Jalen Pickett this time around in a sit down interview. Runs about 25 minutes. Had a great time. Jalen is very introspective and honest and candid and fun in his interview. And we got into some really fun topics. Wanted to be able to share that with you. Hopefully, we could do more things like this in the future with other Nuggets and other people around the NBA. So, really excited for you to see this. Here is this interview with Jalen Pickett. First of all, thank you so much for hopping in and sitting down with us. Nuggets rookie Jalen Pickett here. Thank you so much. 32nd overall pick. And I think everybody's just wanting to get to know you, man. Everybody wants to know who Jalen Pickett is. Just get a good window into the kind of person you are, the kind of player you are, and just wanted to be able to sit down and be able to say that. So, thank you so much for hopping in.
Thank you guys for having me today.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get started.
it should be fun. You grew up in New York. You're a Rochester guy. I wanted to first ask you, what does being a New York point guard mean to you? Because you hear a lot about being a New York point guard, and Michael Malone has talked about being a New York point guard here. So I wanted to know what that means to you, and just what the physicality level is, what the like emotional levels are there.
Yeah, definitely. So, being from New York, it's a tough spot. Definitely from Rochester. Growing up, I feel like it kind of prepared me, for the stage. And right now, Rochester actually has five guys in the NBA, so this is kind of like a golden age for us. So it's really, special for me, and I love to be at home.
You're a three-star recruit coming out of high school. You go to Siena. What brought you to Siena? What was the choice that you made to ultimately get there?
Yeah, so I had a couple offers coming out of prep school when I was at Spire Institute, and Siena was one of them. So being able really to connect with Coach Christian and see how he wanted to play, offensively with all the ball screens and stuff he did, and just having a chance to play right away was really important for me. So really just connected with him, and being able to change the Siena program around for the better was one thing I wanted to do.
You did play right away. I know you started immediately. That was a big deal. You had a lot of success. Looking at some of the numbers that you put up there, it was pretty impressive for a freshman immediately. Um, you were there for 3 years, get hurt a little bit in your junior year, and ultimately decide to transfer. What kind of led you to that decision, and what was it about Penn State that you were so excited about?
Yeah, so I basically did almost everything I wanted to do at Siena. The one thing we didn't accomplish was the NCAA tournament. We actually won in sophomore year, and then
It's amazing.
they cut the tournament for us. So I mean, I just wasn't able to go. And with COVID and everything, I was just ready for a fresh start, new change, new scenery, and just try and compete and put myself in the best position at a higher level. So going into Portal, I had calls with Miami, with Gonzaga, Baylor. So being able to get on the phone with Coach Shrews basically ultimately, him being a first time head coach, but with all his connections and things like that with the Celtics and running an NBA system and being able to play, right away and have the ball in my hands at Penn State was, the final straw for me.
Explain this to me. What does this mean? What is
Whoop.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's
Yeah.
my thing, to get going. And it kind of started at Siena and I just carried it on over. And I'm just gonna stick with it. I mean, I make a three or I make a big shot or something like that, I'm gonna throw the W's, man.
The entire bench is gonna do it right back at you. That'll be fun. Everybody, it's whoop. It's whoop. Just like, or is it with the
Yeah,
two?
it's two.
It's two. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure you get that right. Um, Micah Shrewsberry. You spoke about him a little bit. We talk about him and just kind of the impact that he had. How important is it to have that kind of impact? And what did he do for you that helped you kind of achieve what you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, so for me, basically, he just broke the game down. He made it really simple for me. Surrounded me with great players, and he just basically just taught me how to be a professional. So for me and him, our relationship really grew after the first year and that summer going into the second year. I actually stayed up at Penn State basically the whole summer when people weren't there. I went for the first session all the way through to the second and third. So just being able to work and talk to him and watch film and break stuff down is I mean, I can't thank him enough for, everything he's done for me. So to be at this spot. We actually run like kind of the similar defensive scheme
Yeah.
as, they're teaching us. So I kind of already know some of the stuff we're doing on defense end here. Of course, there's a couple differences, but for the majority, the basic concepts I already know because it's like I said, he's an NBA guy, we run like an NBA system.
It seems like he's going to be an NBA guy. Like just hearing everything about Shrewsbury, like he will eventually get there if he wants to be.
Yeah.
Um, you played and had an extremely successful final year at Penn State. Like you guys go to the NCAA tournament, you upset a team that's seated higher than you. Was that your favorite moments? Or was there another moment that you can point to from those Penn State years that uh, really stands out as just the most important for you?
Definitely. I think the biggest moments, that was definitely the biggest moment. But our first year, we actually won a couple games in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
And then, we felt like we fell short that year.
Mm.
Even though we weren't, the best team, we felt like we had a great shot those last two games. And we feel like if we had if a couple guys don't get injured, we actually could have beat Purdue, that first year. And then, the next year, always playing well in the Big Ten, getting to the finals. We had tire legs at the end, man. We say that. It's tough.
It's
Playing
hard.
4 games in a row, 4 days, it's tough. But definitely just those March moments. And I felt like we were playing that last run we went on. We were playing such great basketball. We won like 5 or 6 games in a row going into the tournament. So I mean, that run was just incredible.
Explain kind of because your setup with Penn State, you were talking to me about it before. You bring the ball up, and then you go set up at the elbow, and then you doing a lot of screening and posting up and doing basically everything for a team. Like you're rebounding like a menace over there. Uh, what was the like? Was that directed by the coaching staff that they wanted you to try to do a little bit of everything? Or was just that your own personal touch and saying this is what I can do to help the team win?
Definitely. I think it was both. That was a great thing about Coach Shrews. He was always open to new things, and he was always looking to do new things. So we would watch film on other teams and where they put their best players and where they had success at, and we would try and mimic it and do different things with our team. So we were just trying to take advantage of mismatches. So
Yeah.
wherever Coach puts me or whatever Coach wanted me to do, I trusted him, and he never put me in any bad positions. So whenever he asked me to do anything, I was always 100% in for it and ready to attack.
You're gonna have to explain booty ball to me because that I know that's followed you around.
Yeah.
It's maybe something that not super enthused about the way that that's being described, but whenever I watch that, I always think of Kyle Lowry as
Yeah.
just and not for the reasons you might think, but like uh he's so good about maneuvering and just getting into tight spaces and creating space at being and he's a 6 foot tall guy. So like just being able to do that. So explain that to me. Explain kind of was that something that sort of developed early on for you? Or is that something that you just decided, hey, this is the way that I can create space at this level?
Yeah. So I actually been doing it like since high school, but actually one coach this year actually said booty ball like in the press conference and then it just took off.
Got it. Got
So
it.
that's what
Yeah.
happened. And it's I have no problem with it. Some people really hate it and some people love it. So for me,
I think
it's
it's
not bad.
hilarious
Yeah,
personally. Like it's
honestly.
just a unique thing about your game that everybody's got to have their unique quirks that they bring to the game of basketball. So it's clearly that one or it's not that specifically, but it's just an aspect of it because you just don't see it that often now.
Yeah, definitely. So usually when like the little guards get on me or somebody I feel like, might be taller but skinnier that I can move, I kind of go to it. And it's just it's different. It's actually funny. The coach wanted to change the rules for it. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing like illegal. But I mean,
That's no, you're not doing anything. That's funny.
I have no problem with it.
That's awesome.
Love booty ball over here.
um, what else? Extremely successful season, obviously at Penn State. You ultimately declare for the draft. What's that process like? I know that Calvin Booth, a Penn State guy as well. I'm sure that those guys were talking to you kind of throughout the process. What was that process like of just being courted by a bunch of different NBA teams and you trying to put yourself out there for them?
Yeah, it's stressful. It's
I'm
stressful
sure it is.
going through a lot of different workouts. The basketball part is never stressful. Being able to play, playing the draft, combine, playing the workouts. That part wasn't really stressful, but just not knowing where you're going next, not knowing if some teams are honest with you, that part was just stressful. But I mean, I did a couple workouts and I had some great feedback from a couple teams, so I've kind of had a good feel of where I was going to go, and then I actually made some leeway at moving up in the draft, and it really gave me some confidence. So I had a great draft night, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
As somebody who was fortunate enough to cover the NBA finals, I did not pay attention to the draft at all. So your name at those points wasn't really on the radar kind of where you were selected, but the Nuggets felt very comfortable taking you at that place, and they're really happy with where what the person that they've got and the player that they've got. So just those conversations with the Nuggets, how did those go? What was it about kind of that pairing that worked out so well?
Yeah, I love the mock drafts. I love to look at them just because you see some guys who are ranked so high, and then you work out with them. I'm like, yeah, he's not going that
It's
high.
fun. It's fun. Like
It's
that's
great
an
to see.
interesting aspect of it
Yeah,
though.
it's great
Yeah.
to see the insides of it, and it always gives you something to work for. Going into with just that hunger, being that underdog, and I came to the Nuggets. I had a good workout, and being able to talk to these guys and talk to Calvin and the coaches, and see where I can try and come in and help out. If they were to select me, was very special, and just to have a team, to have confidence and faith in you, to get better and contribute, down the line is really important.
It's cool. Uh, take me through draft night. Just that, what you remember. It was only like less than 3 months ago, and I was shocked when I heard that. By the way, uh, take me through draft night. Your what you remember, the conversations and the phone call that you got.
Yeah. So I had a draft party back in Rochester. I had coaches from when I first started playing when I was 5 all the way up to Coach Shrews being there in college, and surrounded by friends and family. So it was really a special night for me. And we were on the phone with like 3 or 4 different teams, deciding where I wanted to go. Um, hopefully who was going to take me in a good range. And then there was one team that called that we were okay with not going there. So just being able to get here, this is the place I wanted to be. Honestly, this was my number one, and for them to call me and tell me they were going to select me, really just meant the world to me. And to see my name pop up on that draft board was, man, it was so emotional.
Oh yeah,
Playing 2K all my life and having my player get drafted, and then to finally see myself actually be on there and actually have this real life moment. I mean, it was everything for me.
it's what you not the only thing that you work for, obviously, but it's maybe the biggest thing that you work for in a moment like this. So to feel that validation, and I'm sure that's unbelievable. So again, congratulations on getting to this place. It's
Thank
not
you.
everybody can say that they've gotten to this point. So really good stuff. Is there a player in the league that you called that you're like, hey, I'm here now?
A player that I called.
Yeah, yeah, like either draft night or that reached out to you on that night, was just like really
Thomas
excited for
Bryant
you.
Thomas Bryant reached out, and then, actually Kevin Herter reached out the next day to just to
Cool.
talk a little bit, and he was super excited for me to be here. I remember playing against Kevin, and, we were both on City Rocks and
Wow.
work out sometimes in the summertime just because we're Rochester to Albany is not that far. So, I mean, just being getting feedback from those guys was great. Isaiah Stewart, Anthony Lamb, also some, Rochester guys who reached out and told me great job. So, I mean, it was just really crazy.
It's cool, man. It's unbelievable. Uh, are there players in the league? Because I mentioned Kyle Lowry before, but that might not be the guy that you would comp yourself to. Is there a guy? Because when you are in this as often as as for as long as you are, and like getting to those levels as you do, there's very few players that get to this level that you would comp yourself to. But who have you maybe looked up to the league? Just getting here and saying like, this is how I want to play. This is maybe the style, or maybe it's just somebody's journey that you really appreciated.
Yeah. So there's a lot of great players in the league, and I just try and take a lot of different things from them because I play a different style, but I see a lot of similarities in people and how they play. So I use Marcus Smart when he gets low guards on him and how he plays on the defense, and Drew Holiday, Chris Paul are really 3 guys. The way Chris Paul plays in the pick and roll is just phenomenal. He always gets to where he wants to go.
Right.
So those are like 3 point guards I really look at to try and help my game right now.
Love that. Uh, yeah, all of those guys have had tremendous success at this level. So like, I mean, that's great guys to model your game after. Um, Summer league, completely different kind of basketball experience, I'm sure. Not a ton of time to get prepped and ready for something like that. But can you just take the fan and peel behind the curtain a little bit? Like, what is that like? And how you can get so many strong reactions from NBA fans based off of 5 summer league games.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved getting out there and competing, and getting used to playing with my teammates. I mean, Hunter had a fantastic
It
summer
was
league.
great.
Kid knocked out a lot of shots, made me look really good on the assist column. So,
Nice.
Julian playing with Julian and Peyton and Colin, just getting used to those guys and where they like the ball and different stuff like that. So we have a really young group coming in. So hopefully we can all mesh and continue to get better to try and help as much as we can this year with anybody.
It, coming into the league, like sometimes you aren't paired with a bunch of young guys that are also joining you at the same spot. But it's got to be nice to get to know guys like Colin and Peyton and Julian and Hunter, and like it could have been just you like being up at this spot, and that might have been different. It might have been fine, but I'm sure all these guys going through the same exact process as you probably helps, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just because we're all in like the same spot and we know, it's just up to grabs. Everybody's fighting for time right now. And the good thing is we're all trying to push each other to be better. And we all just want to help, keep this rolling, help Jamal and Jokic and the starters for whatever minutes they need or anything like that. We just want to help the team.
Love that. Um, is there anything coming up here like joining the Nuggets organization that you have since learned or since like people have explained to you about that you're like, hey, watch out for this, or this is a thing that you have to know? Like, what's the thing that stands out when I say that?
Um, for me right now, it's like how many fouls are drawn, how crafty
Yeah,
these guards are. I mean, playing against Reggie Jackson just in practice and seeing how he gets to his spots and how he like sweeps through and draws fouls on that. The defense is definitely different and difficult. It's physical, but then it's like it's physical, and then you can't even touch people at some time. So
yeah, exactly.
it's these guys are really crafty and really creative on how they score the basketball.
Uh, they love offense in this league. You'll learn that really quickly. They love it, man. It is a that's always going to be a thing until the playoffs come around, where then you can be just slightly more physical. Um, What's the approach? Like you spoke about this just a little bit. The approach of joining a championship team and what it means to just kind of continue that on. What do you think you can add to this group, and what's kind of your mentality when it comes to adding to a group that's already won?
Yeah. So I'm just coming in and I'm just gonna try and do my best, play my game. I don't want to get out here and try and do too much and put people in a bad spot. So I'm gonna share the ball and try and get the best guys open shots. So that's always been how I played. Just play hard and whatever the team needs me to do. I'm gonna get out there and try and do it. We lose Bruce, who was in my position last year, so just trying to fill his shoes if then the team needs me to. So just trying to learn as much as possible, honestly.
In this process of just coming to Denver, working out with guys, obviously you mentioned Reggie. Um, you've met some of the veterans who've been around. Who's a player or maybe just somebody around? Maybe it's even one of the guys that you're on the rookie team with that you're surprised about their game in some way, whether it's an aspect of their game that you didn't know, or just something like, oh, that guy's in the league for a reason, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I didn't know a lot about Zeke Naji
Yeah,
or Peyton Watson, and those guys are both had terrific summers. Zeke's shooting the ball much better, and he's even playing a little bit off the dribble. So I can't wait to see his game grow. And then Peyton is just a terrific basketball player. I mean, he's athletic as God knows what. So I can't
yeah.
wait to see where he goes with his game. And now he's adding some offense into his game too, being able to shoot it off the dribble and make plays out the pick and roll. So he's gonna be a terrific player.
Really excited for those guys as well. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. It's going to be different than this last year. Just a lot of different guys that I think are going to have a lot of different roles off the bench this year. So should be fascinating for sure. Um, I think like obviously I don't think you've met Nicola yet. I think he went back to Serbia and was like gone.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll be back around. But from what you know, how do you think you would describe, just as a basketball savant, the Nikola Jokic Jamal Murray connection and what that means to this team, but also just like basketball?
Yeah. So Jamal's up here, and I watched him work out, and I watched him play, and he's going through the motions, just getting back to it. But I mean, he was making a lot of shots.
Yeah,
So I mean, I can see how how hard it is for people to guard the pick and roll. I mean, really, what do you do? Do you switch it? Now Nicola gets a mismatch. I mean, do you not switch it? Now Jamal's attacking your big. I mean, those two just playing off each other. I don't know how you guard it, honestly. And with the way Jokic passes it and can shoot it, Jamal passing and shoot it. Both those guys were getting triple doubles in the finals. I mean, it's it's a combination where I just hopefully I can learn from Jamal as much as possible and see how he plays in the pick and roll.
I mean, you've got a triple double kind of game like that. You're gonna get the rebounds. That's gonna be a thing I think on the second unit. So there's definitely a possibility that could happen. That'll be pretty
Yeah.
cool. That'll be a pretty cool goal for first year of your career. Uh, so what's a player or team in the league that you are excited to face? That maybe whether it's an opponent, just somebody that you know. Who are you
Yeah.
most excited to go against?
For me, it's gonna be Steph Curry. In
Yeah,
other words, to see somebody. I'm a big Steph Curry fan, and I think for me, the reason I'm such a big fan is I know how much work he puts in to be able to shoot the ball like that. Like, I mean, he makes some incredible shots from distance and different things like that. So being able to, compete against him and just, have that kind of looking up to your idol moment is going to be great. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to compete. So I can't wait to see how good he really is.
Yeah, I mean that's everybody has their welcome to the NBA moments. I'm gonna follow back up with you at some point in October or November to see if you've had yours at that point. But I wonder if Steph Curry pulling up from 35 will be that moment. That's just how often does that happen at the college level, right?
Yeah. People don't usually shoot it from that deep, at least that consistently.
Yeah.
You might make one, but I mean, that guy can make, six, seven in a row and get hot.
He's unbelievable. Do you have any personal expectations for how you want your rookie season to go, or is this just kind of a feel it out, see what the role is going to be kind of situation?
Yeah, I have no expectations for this year for me individually. That's how I went into my first year at college too. I just want to get in and I work really hard and I just want to see wherever the team needs me. And then after this year, I'm gonna, evaluate what happened, what I need to get better at, and then I'll have expectations for my second year. But this first year is just trying to do whatever the team needs, figure out my role, figure out my niche, and try and help it any way I can.
And it just team is obviously coming off of a championship we've spoken about, wanting to bolster that. Just what are some ways like that you think you could help bolster the team? Just whether it's your personality, whether it's the style of play that you're bringing to the table. What do you think you can bring?
Just more versatility, IQ, and I can shoot the basketball. So any way around that, whatever the team at this time needs, if I need to get in there and guard, I can guard. If I need to move the ball and get guys open shots, get guys open shots. I mean, those are things I try and do the best, and been pretty successful this far.
Well, I agree. So thank you for hopping in. I just want to ask you a few more questions off the court wise. You've done some community work here in the city. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on that and just stuff that you wanted to that you feel like you're passionate about. Just helping out in the community.
Definitely, I remember when I was a kid. I didn't get to talk to a lot of, professional athletes. Like we talked to a lot of, managers or business owners or things like that, but you never really got to talk to professional athletes like coming to a class or being able to talk. And, that's always what I wanted to be. I always wanted to be a professional athlete. So it's kind of cool, going to see kids and be like, oh my God, like you guys actually came to like see us and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was cool. I went over to West High and was able to talk to those classes. And I did a couple things at like, local food pantries and things like that. So just being able to see those kids and have them smile and light up their day has been, really amazing.
Fantastic. Um, have you enjoyed being in the city? Like, just it's new place. You've been here for a couple months, but like, it's got to be completely different, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah. So, like I said, it's a little bigger than Rochester, and but it's still pretty mellow, and I love it so far in Denver. And people are always like, "Oh, wait till the winter," but I'm like, I'm from Rochester, so I'm
Yeah,
used to
you
the
know.
snow and all that stuff,
Yeah.
so I'm not even worried about it. But I love it so far. It's beautiful here.
Uh, and we talked a little bit about sports, like just other sports you've gotten into. You told me you're a Dolphins fan. You got a Dolphins prediction that you want to share with the world at this point before the NFL season kicks off?
If Tua stays healthy,
Yeah.
we're going to the AFC Championship.
Oh, I
If he
love it.
stays healthy, we're going. I don't know if we're gonna win, but we're going. If he has to stay healthy though.
And hopefully he does. Like that dude is awesome when he's on the field. So, look, hey, thank you so much, Jalen. Really appreciate you hopping on with us and taking the time because it's really cool to get an opportunity to get to know some of the new Nuggets rookies and some of the new players and new faces that Nuggets Nation is hoping to is really hoping to get to know. So, thank you so much and good luck this season.
Thank you guys so much for having me.